the Combine. Always a treat to be here for NFL Live. We're so glad that you're with us. Louis Riddick, Mina Kimes, Peter Schrager, Field Yates joins us in just a little bit. And, of course, Adam Schefter. And you guys, as you might imagine, it happens every time this time of year. We got a lot of breaking news. So that is where we are going to begin with Adam Schefter. The latest, of course, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson has been given permission by the team to seek a trade. That, according to our Colts reporter, Stephen Holder. Adam, what more can you tell us?
Laura, the Indianapolis Colts are prepared to move forward this year with Daniel Jones, whose contract is up and who the team is trying to re-sign, along with last year's rookie quarterback Riley Leonard from Notre Dame. With those two quarterbacks expected to be on the roster, obviously Anthony Richardson is looking for another home, a place where he would have the opportunity to be higher on the depth chart and play more. And the Colts have granted his agent permission to seek a trade. You remember last year, Richardson was hurt in pregame warmups, hurt his eye. His vision was impacted in a stretching band exercise accident. The vision has come back. He would like to play, and now it is up to his agent to go find a team that is interested in Anthony Richardson. And in a year where there's not a lot of quarterbacks in the draft and the free agent quarterback market is a bit thin, there could be some interest in the former fourth overall pick from the Indianapolis Colts, who was expected to move on from this city.
Yeah, as you said, Adam, it was expected as soon as they ended up bringing in Daniel Jones, but we've seen the talent on display at times. Louis, is there a team that makes sense for you for Anthony Richardson?
This is such a strange situation simply because of all the factors that led up to why he's in the situation that he's in now. I don't think this is the conventional, hey, let's just try and find a place where you can go ahead and play and maybe you have a chance to start at some point during the season. I just don't think the NFL teams are really looking at him that way, quite honestly. I would look at it like this. Anthony needs to go somewhere that has a strong foundation at the quarterback position, that has an established starter, that has a great head coach, play caller, quarterback coach, and a great quarterback in and of itself. To me, I've seen Andy Reid do this before. I've seen him do it when we had Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia, and then we signed Michael Vick once he got released from jail, and we kind of basically rehabbed his entire career at that point in time. He wound up becoming a starter and playing very good football for us. I'm not saying that happens for Anthony Richardson in Kansas City, but I think he needs to be around that kind of culture. He needs a level set here. He needs a reset on his career. I just don't think this is going to be a very conventional type of situation.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of teams make sense for the reasons you described because they aren't bringing him in as a starter. He doesn't cost a lot of money. This will not be a trade that requires a lot of high draft pick, in my opinion. So a team like Kansas City, I'll throw out the Rams as another team where they're starting to think about the future, but they don't really have to at the moment. And his upside, the athletic tools, the big throws we saw at times could be tantalizing to head coach like Sean McVay, who wants to view him as a developmental project. If, however, he is interested in at least the opportunity to earn a job, that's when I go to a team like Minnesota that I don't feel has many good options to bring in competition for J.J. McCarthy. If you bring in Richardson, to me, that's actually weirdly a vote for McCarthy because you're saying we still think you've got a chance. We don't need to bring in a vet like a Kirk Cousins. But if I'm Anthony Richardson, that would have a lot of appeal to me. I don't know if Minnesota does it.
Yeah, I don't want to be negative. Lewis is 100% right with his assessment of this, that this is not a traditional prospect, and there's a lot of hurdles he has to overcome. Adam mentioned he had no vision in his eye last year. So, yes, he's been medically cleared, but that is a significant piece of this. Secondly, there was questions about his heart and whether he loves football, stuff that is real character stuff. Where are you now? Now that football was taken away for a season, where are you now? Do you come back hungrier than ever, wanting to learn more than ever? And the final part of this, and this is so much to do with the coaching and the evaluating of these quarterbacks, Shane Steichen's viewed as a quarterback-friendly head coach who pours everything into these young quarterbacks and is one of these individuals that is known for his ability to connect with all different quarterbacks, young, old, traditional, under center. And it didn't work out there. So this is a flyer. This is a coach who says, hey, we got a shot and let's give him a chance. But please, let's not compare this to Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold, who are starters in this league for years and years and then got another opportunity.
Yeah, I realize it's going to be a bit of a learning curve in so many ways. I actually spoke to Anthony Richardson on the field before a Monday Night Football game we had toward the latter part of the season, and he said he's learned a ton and actually learned a lot from Phillip Rivers. So I do think there's a bit of an opportunity for a new lease in this whole situation. He feels like he's ready for that. We'll see who ends up giving him a chance. Adam, last word from you.
Well, the last thing is NFL Films captured a moment between Anthony Richardson and Kevin O'Connell in a post-game exchange last season where Kevin O'Connell reached in, hugged him, and said, "You're going to play in this league for a long time. I still believe in you." Now, we'll see if the Vikings have any interest, but let's also keep in mind we're coming off a season and seasons in which we've seen Baker Mayfield rebound, Mac Jones rebound, Sam Darnold rebound and lead the Seahawks to a Super Bowl title. And when teams are in need of a quarterback, somebody out there might be inspired by some of these reclamation projects that have paid off across the league.
Yeah, it's a good point. Don't forget that exchange that happened with Kevin O'Connell. I mean, all of these things carry weight and meaning, especially when we're trying to figure out where these quarterbacks go. And what Adam told us is not necessarily a heavy quarterback class when it comes to free agency or the draft. More breaking news, Adam. We go right back to you. This coming from the Jets, a trade between the Jets and the Titans. Adam, what do we need to know?
Laura, this is the first official trade of the offseason, even though it can't be processed until each player passes his physical and the new league year begins in mid-March. But the Tennessee Titans are getting a player that their head coach, Robert Saleh, knows very well from his time as the head coach of the New York Jets. And the New York Jets are getting a player that they believe can help plug the center of their defensive line in T'Vondre Sweat. Each team bolsters its defensive line, but each team now has a hole in their offensive line as well. And with the New York Jets scheduled to hold the second overall pick in the draft at this point in time, it certainly would look like they would be locked in on taking the best pass rusher in this particular draft.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of different opinions on who that might be. But first of all, Peter, what do you make of this deal?
Some interesting pieces to this. We very rarely get a one-for-one player trade. From the Titans side of it, Robert Saleh was a part of the crew that drafted Jermaine Johnson in the first round. Aaron White-Cotton, who is the defensive line coach in Tennessee, was Jermaine Johnson's defensive line coach with the Jets. Also, it's Jermaine Johnson's final year of his contract, so he'll be motivated to be as good as he possibly can and make the most of this. Also, the new athletic trainer in Tennessee is a guy named Brent Calloway, who used to run the Exos program out there in Scottsdale, Arizona. During Jermaine Johnson's pre-draft, pre-combine training period, spent 2 months with Brent Calloway. So everyone is all invested in Tennessee on the success of Jermaine Johnson. For T'Vondre Sweat, they're changing their defense from a 4-3 to a 3-4. He's a big 335-pound run stuffer. Plop him in the middle. He's a much cheaper player than Jermaine Johnson, who's not in the final year of his free agent deal.
Yeah, I mean, Mina, you even brought this up this week on your podcast, just how interesting that number 4 pick is for the Titans. We'll dive into that a whole lot more. But what's going on behind us? Okay, this is a day. Maybe if you're the Jets or one of these teams, it's looking for one. Welcome to Indy and the NFL Scouting Combine. It's a week where the NFL descends upon this great town, making some deals, determining the future of the league. Opportunity awaits the next group of NFL stars, and this is the week they meet with the teams who will invest in them with hopes of boosting their franchise. Now, one of those players that can provide a big boost, it's Arvell Reese. Does he go as high as number 2 to the Jets? The Ohio State player, we'll talk a lot about him and so much more. And Jermod McCoy is also here, as well as tons more talent. Of course, saying he's not going to work out today, but the tape speaks for itself. A lot more to come on that, as we will show you what's happening here